So Dark Castle is an old game that started off as a computer game back in the 80s, and then eventually, by the 90s, they decided to import it onto the Sega Genesis. So that's the game we're going to be talking about today. You know, mix things up. You know, always talking about the Nintendos. So I figure, you know, let's talk about a Sega Genesis game this time. And what better game than this piece of shit? First of all, there really ain't no plot to this game. It's just a standard kinda action platformer where you're just running around a castle and you're fighting off things like bats and cute cartoon dragons and shit like that. If they were trying to make this like a scary game, a horror game, they really didn't do a good job with that shit. It also doesn't help that the main character just looks like Peter Pan. And one of the first things you see in the opening screen is that you run into a door that has a BK at the top of it. Shit, actually, now that I think about it, no, this is fucking Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo.
Yo, man, they got fucking Shaggy Rogers, the demigod himself, to be in this game? Well, maybe it isn't so bad after all, fam.
Nah, man, this is not a very good game still, even despite all that. And I'll tell you why. The controls in this game are horrible. I've complained about bad jumping controls, but this is some of the shittiest jumping controls I've ever seen. It's one of these platformers where, for some reason, if you jump from too high, you end up dying, which, okay, I can maybe look at that aside, but the jumping is so weird in this game. You jump, freeze in place for like a split second, and then you fall. And it's the most frustrating shit ever. You can't even do something simple like go downstairs right in this game. This is one of those old platformers where you have to go downstairs diagonally, kind of like Castlevania or some shit. But oh, you end up getting stuck, and you have to just fucking rock the D-pad back and forth until you eventually get off one staircase and you go walking to the rest of the platform, and then you hit the next staircase and you do the same shit over and over and over again. And another thing that doesn't help is that they don't give you no weapon in this game. Like even like sort of Sedan or whatever that fucking other Genesis game was called, that game gave you a sword. In this game, the closest you get to a weapon is you throw rocks. And you have to bend over and pick those up, and of course the controls for that is fucked. You have to go down, and then you push a separate button to grab the rocks. It's not like a lot of other games where you just walk into the item and then you just immediately get it just by touching it. No, here they had to make everything as complicated as possible with all the different little button schemes you have to do. And the ducking in this game is absolutely terrible. You wanna know why? Because it's not like any other game where to go down, you push the down. No, here you hit the B button and up. That's for jumping. Going downstairs, that's down. But ducking, that's up on the D-pad. What the fuck is that shit? And one of the most messed up things here is that other than that, the game isn't even that long. I mean, I was able to beat it. I was able to get through all the fucked controls in this thing, but yeah, it's not that long a game. The real challenge comes less from what's happening in the game and more just trying to get around the fucking terrible control scheme. I've played some shitty games for Swigga Game Reviews, but you know what, man? This is one of the worst ones, bar none. This is one of the worst Genesis games. I'm tempted to say it's even worse than Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu was at least funny bad. This isn't even funny bad. This is so impossible to get behind. I mean, even something like Power of Sedan or whatever that fucking game was called, or Power Instinct, or games like that, those don't even come close to how shit this is. Fuck this fucking game, man. I hate it. This is probably the most pissed off I've ever been in a super long time, man. But you know what? I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna smoke some weed like my boy Shaggy Rogers, and you know, I'm gonna get some Burger King. I'm gonna calm myself down right now. So yeah, Dark Castle, fuck this game.